Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Emily and I enjoy creating journal related content. I've always had a love for all things stationery and keeping journals is one of my favorite things in the world. There's nothing quite like flipping through completed pages of a journal and reflecting on the pages. So today I thought I would share some ideas for ways you can fill your own journal pages. Some will be more functional while others are just for fun. Along with just talking about these ideas, I'll be showing you some examples from my own past journals. And if you're curious as to what else I put in my journals, I do have flip-throughs for most of these journals on my channel, which you can check out at the playlist. So my first suggestion for you is to just write. This is the primary way in which I utilize my journals. I just write about my life. And normally I start by talking about how my day went, and oftentimes I just end up talking about something else like past memories or, as I keep writing about my day and my mind processes things, I kind of dive deeper into other things. And you would be surprised, by starting somewhere small, you can lead to pages and pages of writing. Now, as you can see, I decorate my pages, with washi tape and scrapbook paper, stickers and stuff, but that is totally unnecessary. I just do it because it makes me happy, but all you need is a pen and paper and you're good to go. So here, this was, as you can see, back in March of 2020. This was when, COVID really started to hit America and things were really shutting down. Those few days were crazy. So I was just kind of documenting that, putting in memes because, that's the way that millennials and Gen Z cope with things. Another meme with Macbeth. Adding these pictures are also great ways to kind of add to your writing a little bit. Also here, I was tracking COVID numbers that quickly went away because things started to boom and numbers went up. So here's another example from a different journal where I was writing, but as you can see, it's not writing. I typed it up and printed it, and I think that looks really cool. So if you're ever feeling lazy, you could always type things up, print it, and glue it in your journal, and that works too. But personally, I like handwriting things, so most of the time I do handwrite. It's just when I'm really lazy that I type things up and print it. So the second idea is using your journal as a bullet journal or planner. So I actually used to keep a separate bullet journal in my first couple of years of college, and I found it quite useful as I had a place to put all my dates and stuff, and it was a nice little creative outlet. I used to make weekly spreads like this one and list out my to-do list with like the checklist. I'd put my weather, meal tracking, things like that, just so I could visually see what I had to do and what I accomplished. I would also do spreads for tracking things, so a mood tracker, a sleep tracker, steps tracker, how much water I drank, and then this was a study tracker because I think this was final season. Yeah, it doesn't look like I studied much, but December's the end of the semester, so it was only like the first few days of December. But yeah, it was super fun creating different monthly themes in here, and again, it was a fun creative outlet. Now, I did mention I only did this in the first couple of years because after a while, I just got a little too busy to keep drawing out layouts like this. And it was much easier for me to just buy pre-made planners or use a weekly layout sheet instead of taking the time to draw out everything. So now whenever I want to do a little planning in my journal, I just use these kinds of note sheets that I found at Michael's and Daiso a while ago, and I just glue them into my journal, and they're really cute. But again, you could just as easily draw these things in your journal. So my next idea is to create a currently page. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I like to include one of these in every journal that I do. And basically, it's just where I mark all the different things that I'm currently up to, like what I'm reading, watching, listening to, wanting, needing, and all of these different things. Sometimes it changes from journal to journal, and I think it's just nice to have something to look at in each journal to examine myself as a person, at a glance rather than having to read through all the entries. So I can kind of compare this one to the currently page in my next journal or the previous journal and see what's changed with me as a person. So yeah, you can include all these different categories and anything else that you think of that kind of relates to you as a person. Now at this time, you know, I was at school, so I wasn't necessarily cooking, but if you cook, you can put, you know, currently cooking. What kind of things do you enjoy making? So my next suggestion is entertainment reviews. I love movies, books, TV, all things entertainment. So those things often become a part of my day-to-day life and get put in my journal. You can see in the decorations from my regular pages that I include a lot of pop culture things. So for example, when I watch a new movie, I like to write a little review for it. So this is for BlacKkKlansman, which came out years ago now. It was so good. I just put the cast, the year it came out, when I watched it, any quotes, and then a rating and a little review, little image of the movie poster, and I think it's really fun. I know some people have whole journals dedicated to movies, which I think is really cool, but I just like having everything in one book, so it's easier for me and my life kind of just goes in chronological order. So here's another example of how I incorporate that in my journal. This was like a spread in Entertainment Weekly around Oscars season, and I just cut it up and glued it all around. And then as I was watching the Oscars, I would just check off who won. I think in this particular award season, I was really invested because Bohemian Rhapsody, Star is Born, I think it was a great year for movies. 2018? I think was the year. With books, sometimes as I'm reading, I like to take notes with the quotes and stuff. So I was reading Michelle Obama's memoir, just jotted a few notes down. You can make your reading experience kind of interactive. And again, I know some people have whole journals dedicated to books, which is really cool. Now, instead of doing full spreads dedicated to reviewing books, I actually just kind of do a little tip in on a Project Life card. Just write the title, include a picture, and then I do a little review on the writing side and just tape it in on the day that I complete it, just so it doesn't take up that much space. I just prefer it because sometimes I don't have enough to say about books, but I could just as easily do this with any new movies that I watch as well, and vice versa. So next up, I have collages. So during the lockdown last year, I started doing collages for each color of the rainbow with different stickers, washi tapes, printouts, as you can see here. Here's another example. I thought the experience was super fun and relaxing, so I would highly recommend collaging if, you know, you have a few different things that you kind of want to use up. Going through magazines that you have is really good. Printing things out if you want is great, or even just using your own photos, I don't know, from like past family vacations or parties and stuff, and making a collage out of that would be really cool. And then here's another example. You could also do collages for vision boards, goal boards. I think that would be really cool as well. Or I even mentioned this in a journal with me, but if you go through an interior design magazine, you can like put all these different images of furniture and create your dream room in a spread, and that would be really fun. My next suggestion would be journal prompts. So when you feel like you don't have much to write about or just feel overall uninspired, utilizing journal prompts is a great way to, you know, kickstart your writing. So here's a little spread in my journal from last year during COVID when a fellow journaling YouTuber, Lindsay Kava, had posted some journal prompts related to the time, and I just created a spread dedicated to that and also tried to kind of match her aesthetic with the rainbow theme. So I kind of just put all the prompts here, and then I answered each question on the other two pages. I also kind of turned the questions in this book into journaling prompts as well. I got this book from Target. It's by Piccadilly. And it just has a bunch of questions in here. Some of them are very basic, but you can kind of use them as journaling prompts, I would think. Also, if you just do a simple Google search, thousands of results will pop up, and there are so many amazing prompts available. Oftentimes people categorize them, so there's different prompts for things like self-love, reflection, creative prompts, lots of good stuff out there. So my next idea is to use your journal as a travel journal. Since COVID is, not what it was, people are starting to travel again, which is exciting. So now you can bring your journal along and kind of document your trip. A couple of years ago, I went on a little trip out to the Midwest, out to Minnesota, and I kind of just documented that, which was really fun. So this is like the little cover page I made with some maps. Take lots of pamphlets and stuff. You can use that as ephemera to document your trip. So here's another example of that. This was the second day of my trip. I stopped by the University of Notre Dame. I just put a map to the campus in there. It's a beautiful school, by the way. Here's a picture inside the church. I actually had these printed through Walmart so I can have better quality pictures of things from my trip. So here's another little example from when I went to a Met game. I put in the scorecard here, more photos that I took, and then the ticket. Those are all really great things to include in your journals. Also, if you just go to a movie, even include the ticket stub. So my next idea would be to create lists, and this could be for anything. I know a lot of people like to create lists of baby names in their phones, so why not put it in your journal? I was just playing a little game with myself, trying to come up with 3 different names, 3 boy names, 3 girl names, for each letter of the alphabet that I liked. Some of these I don't like anymore, but anyway, you could totally do that. That would be really fun. Create lists of movies you like, TV shows, characters you like. Here's an example of that. Actually, I did this a couple of years ago, just listing all the fictional characters that I adore. So around this time, I was really into Queen because Bohemian Rhapsody was the big thing. So I wrote out all the different songs that I liked, that they came out with. Also here, those were my first Sims families. If you are into video games, you can definitely try to incorporate that into your journal somehow. So my last idea would be to use your journal to work on your different art skills. By no means am I an artist, but I enjoy, drawing and painting every so often. And so here's what I did. I doodled some little images of Queen, again when Bohemian Rhapsody was really popular. I thought this was a really cute way to decorate my journal, but you could just do pages and pages of drawings and doodles. Here's a little doodle I did of the penguin from Happy Feet. It was kind of like an inside joke thing with my brother. I lied, I actually have one more idea for you for your journal pages, and that is to fill them with some of your favorite quotes. So here's one from Mulan. You can kind of just turn it into word art, and that is really, really cute. Every once in a while, it's really nice to flip through your pages and see an inspirational quote or something that speaks to you. You could also do this with song lyrics, movie quotes, anything, and kind of just make it fun and personalized to you. But yeah, those are just some of the ideas that I have for you to help fill up some of your journal pages. Let me know if you have any other ideas that I didn't mention in this video, because I'm always looking for new ideas for my journal. I hope that this was able to inspire you in some way. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up and possibly even subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I create new journaling content each week. But with that, I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're all doing well, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!